Do you still walk wide around white vans and parking lots because they creep you out?
Did movies like Jaws shape your fears surrounding swimming pools?
If you've ever been scared of a Jim Henson creation, you might be a Xennial, and we are too. Hi, I'm Katie.
And I'm Danny, and you're listening to Generation in Between, a Xennial podcast. And today we are talking about all the things that scared us as 80s kids. A little bit of 90s trickled in there, but mostly it's mostly weird shit that scared us.
Definitely.
And mine is really weird.
I thought I had like one or two, and then as I talked to you and then thought more about it, I came up with a few more.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I told you most of them, but yeah. I was like, oh, I guess I was scared of more things than I remembered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I forgot to say that this is a Xennial podcast where we revisit, remember, and sometimes relearn all kinds of things from being 80s kids and 90s teens.
That's right.
But today we're going to zero in on our 80s kids fears because we are starting spooky season now.
That's what I was going to say.
It's
this
happening.
Is spooky season number 1. We're going to have, 8 or 9 episodes?
Maybe more.
Ooh, I had an idea. Remind me to tell you after. I meant to tell you before we turned it on.
Fun.
It's a fun one. Okay. But if you're watching on YouTube, you may notice a little addition to our set. Ta-da!
Well,
trying to look at
covering it up.
I don't know. This is awkward. But anyway, yes, we have our little on-air sign all lit up that Jen St. Marie got for us.
Oh, you said her last name. I don't know if she wants that.
Oh, she doesn't.
Well, whatever. Too bad.
Here, let's do it again, and I'll
it's
take
fine.
it out.
I think it's fine.
Now I just said that, so. All right, we're going to do it again. I don't know what I said, but something about our on-air sign, and it's lit up from our friend Jen.
One of our Jens.
One of our Jens. And what makes it extra cool is she thrifted
it.
So, she didn't, go on Amazon. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just, type it in. She was shopping in a thrift store. So, this is a thrifted on-air sign.
So fun.
Pretty exciting.
And the only problem is we have to have it. Well, it fits perfectly right here, and it has to plug in because the backs where the battery goes is broke, and I messed with it for an hour trying to fix it, and it is beyond my capable skills, which are minimal. But anyway, it still has a plug, and it plugs in and lights up. So
we love it.
Go look for it on YouTube if you're just listening to us. We'll probably take a picture too.
We definitely will.
So
we're on air.
Okay. Oh, also, before we jump into scary stuff, I have some things that my sister corrected us on. Well,
let's hear.
Corrected me on.
Oh, okay.
So first thing was, remember I said my sister listens to us sporadically?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, she walks a lot now because I live in Oregon and it's beautiful weather right now.
Gorgeous right now. Yeah.
So she does a lot of walking, and whenever she listens to our podcast, she'll text me stuff, and she texted me and she was like, first of all, Chef Boyardee does not make SpaghettiOs. Campbell's makes SpaghettiOs.
Okay. So I was right.
Yes.
I didn't say Campbell's. I just said, I don't think Chef Boyardee makes SpaghettiOs.
Yes. And then I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget. Oh, she said her wife, Alicia, loves Lunchables. Now, she is a grown-ass lady.
Yeah.
And guess what her favorite one is? I told you this yesterday. It's the pizza one. The one that we blasted so hard.
How? What does she like about it?
Well, here's the thing. I love my sister-in-law. She's amazing. I love her very much. But my sister always says she has the palate of a kid. And so, when they come visit, I'll be like, oh, does Alicia like this or that? And she's like, if your kids like it, Alicia will like it.
I love that. So so then there are kids who like the pizza ones, I guess.
Kids love them.
Kids love them, yeah.
But anyway, she still loves them. So you go ahead, Alicia. And then she told me, she corrected my memory, and I'm glad she did. So she was in on the bologna weird thing that I made in the microwave.
Okay.
But she said we used to make them in the toaster oven.
Okay.
And we realized it took too long. So then we started making them in the microwave.
So you got more efficient.
And technically, I think that is fried bologna. It's like a take on fried bologna, which you usually make in a pan. So we didn't invent it. That's just...
Yeah.
So I thought we invented it, but it's not.
It's not. Okay. So you're frying your bologna. It was too slow on the stove.
It was originally in a toaster oven.
Then it went to toaster oven from stove.
To the microwave.
The
main important ingredient, though, was the Tony Chachere's Cajun seasoning.
I'm sure I've had it.
If you've had anything,
I will
I've cooked,
need to
it's in there.
Get some and use it at my house.
They got it at Publix.
It sounds delicious.
They got it at the Publix.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Was that it? Did she have more?
there was something else, but we'll get into it when we start talking about the fears.
Sounds good. So I still think you have a few more fears than me. So I think you should start.
Okay. All right. Well, then I'll jump right into what my sister said. So I sat down to like type. I like to type it because like writing takes too long, and I was trying to just like keep track of the things, weird shit that scared me when I was a kid. So I was like, let me text my sister, and I was like, hey, podcast research, and I was like, I'm trying to write down all the weird stuff I was scared of as a kid, and I said, what are some things you remember, or something like that, and no kidding. She typed back 3 things, and it was my top 3 that I already written.
Wow. Okay. So that's just kind of like validation.
Yeah. And so I kept going. And anyway, I kept coming up with so many things. And I was like, hello, undiagnosed anxiety disorder when you're a kid.
When you're a kid. Yeah.
And my sister told me, just narrow it down to things that scared you between the ages of like 3 and 7.
Yes.
But I did write a few more that came in. And I think we have some of the same.
I think we do.
Yeah. Because
so if that happens, I'll just jump in, and
yes.
if I have anything extra, I can add.
Because there are some weird things that 80s kids specifically are scared of.
Mm-hmm.
And they did make my list. Because I did a little research too.
Okay.
So my number one thing I was scared of as a kid was weather.
Okay.
Not just any weather, but severe weather. Okay. Mm-hmm. And you would think, oh, hurricanes, because I lived in South Louisiana. Yes. But mostly what scared me was tornadoes.
I put that down for me too.
Really?
Yeah, fear of tornadoes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Because I was in Indiana.
Oh yeah.
And they were very common in the summer months by us. I looked it up. The fear of tornadoes or hurricanes is called lylopsophobia.
Okay. Add that to my list of phobias.
Yeah. And it's hurricanes and tornadoes specifically.
Well, I don't know. Okay. So my dad was an oceanographer, okay, which studied the ocean and all the things. Weather is very intertwined with that, obviously. Yeah. And he was obsessed with like hurricanes, weather. So maybe I just grew up hearing about weather all the time. And hello, undiagnosed anxiety. So I just, to the point where there was sometimes, and here was the thing that scared me about tornadoes, which also makes sense with anxiety. Hurricanes, you know ahead of time.
Yeah.
For even if it's not a lot of time, you can plan. Mm-hmm. Tornadoes, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like they just fucking pop up.
They just show up.
And you're in South Louisiana, you have no basement. Mm-hmm. You just have to go hide in the bathtub. So and I was always scared that it would happen at night, to the point where my parents lied to me and told me that severe weather does not happen at night. Literally, my sister can back me up on this. They literally told me that because I would not sleep.
Oh.
But what I would do sometimes was I would go in the bathtub with a blanket and pillow.
To be ready. You were ready.
Literally.
I didn't go that far, but I also would have trouble sleeping, particularly in the summer, and only if there was like a bad storm already going on.
Yeah.
Like if it was really bad, or I knew we were under a tornado watch or something like that. Now, to be fair, I don't know if I should jinx myself. I've never seen a tornado.
Oh, yeah?
Like in person.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, the places I've lived and everything, I've never seen one. But I think what made it worse, and I think my parents were trying to make it better, but they both had a couple stories of tornadoes. So they would tell us. And so like my mom was saying one time she was washing dishes as a kid and it was bad weather and she looked up and she saw it like coming toward their house.
I've had nightmares like that.
And so they all ran to the basement and tornadoes and it like went up in the air before it got there or whatever. But so I would just, and same thing, it was always stories of being surprised by it, kind of like you said. So I would just be constant high alert if it was bad weather or if like the sky was quote unquote green.
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yes. Like, all the signs. Or and we lived in the Midwest as adults, as I was an adult.
Yeah.
And tornado sirens went off all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because y'all had them too.
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't have those in South Louisiana. That wasn't a thing because there's nowhere to you're screwed. So
it's like, here it comes.
I hated that because it took me living there for about a year and a half before I realized you don't have to run to the basement every time it goes off.
Every time you hear it. Yeah.
And then the second time we lived in the Midwest, we didn't have a basement. We lived on base. To save money, they built storm shelters in the garage instead of basements.
Okay.
Girl, that thing, I never wanted to go in there. Because it's scary. I mean,
it's scary. Yeah.
Like, and we'd have to tell the kids, like, if you're playing outside, do not play in the fucking storm shelter.
Right.
Because
It's 4 storms. Yeah. And really hurricanes here, some of the worst damage friends of mine have had during like parts of hurricanes that have come to our area or the outer bands have been tornadoes, where like, you know, the hurricane winds and the rain wasn't that bad, but a couple tornadoes came through on the band. Like one of my friends' roof came completely off. Then the rain started. Jeez. You got no roof. Jeez. So I mean, I'd say that's not an irrational fear, but probably the way we understood it as children was probably not like the whole picture.
Yeah.
And the hurricane thing's funny too, because you said, oh, you know, you can prepare, but even those are so unpredictable, right? So yes, you can get out of there, you can hunker down, you can, well, all the things, right? But I think because we feel like we have control over that.
Yeah.
But we kind of don't.
No, we don't. I mean, it's weather. I mean, and Hurricane Katrina is a great example because I was living temporarily in South Louisiana. I don't want to get too in the weeds with this because it's just a downer and it's just whatever. Temporarily while Troy was doing training, we had just gotten married, and we went out the night before I evacuated because we didn't think it was coming our way. And we went out for my, it was like, I was already married, but it was like a delayed wedding bachelorette get together party thing. And we went out, we were drinking it up. I spent the night at my friend Beth's apartment. We wake up the next morning and it had turned.
Ooh.
And that's everybody, scary. And like, you have to understand, when you grow up in a place where hurricanes are a way of life, you don't freak out. Like a lot of people who are new to the South, like wig out every time. It's like, well, you don't, because a lot of times it does turn or this or that.
Right.
And that was unprecedented. And it was crazy. Huge. And Troy called me, and because he was finishing training in another state, and he was like, you got to get out of there. And so we packed up, got on the road. I will never, because they had all these roads closed. It took us like, I think she'll have to correct me, 9 or 10 hours for a 5-hour drive.
Ooh.
We had 2 cats in the back of her pickup truck in their carriers.
Poor things.
Crying at each other because they just, oh God, it was crazy. And then that was a whole spin of events. My whole family stayed there. It was not good. I couldn't talk to them for like days.
And we're coming up on 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw something on TV, like a commercial for like a special that, who was it? It's someone who I think got her start in Robin Gibbons. I don't know. But there's going to be like some 20-year special report or something, which, you know, I mean, you know,
it's too much. But anyway, let's move on from weather.
Let's move on.
Okay.
What's your next one?
Here's my funny one. Okay. So the second thing my sister texted me was the second thing I wrote down was Guy Smiley from Sesame Street. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
He was the game show host.
Yes.
He had a very big mouth.
Yes.
And he was very loud.
I can see him in my head right now. Yeah.
And very, like, I can't think of the right word, but my mom, I mean, because Sesame Street was like part of our childhood. That was like a core part, especially in my house. And I loved it, except I did not like whenever she's like, I always knew when he came on screen because I could hear you screaming from the other room. Because I would watch it from little bitty.
And you would scream, like literally?
Oh, yes.
Aw.
He terrified me. And I can remember being scared. I was more of like a Grover girl, okay? And Big Bird, like the calmer, like, and you know, Grover was very lovable, la la la. Like if Elmo would have been around back then, I would have loved Elmo.
Oh yeah,
but this was the OG days. So
well, I have one of them on my list too.
Who?
The Count.
Oh, you were scared? He didn't scare me.
Terrified of the Count,
oh my God,
to the point that I didn't want to get out of bed in the morning. This was probably like preschool into kindergarten, because I thought he was under my bed and he was going to grab my ankles. So look, I looked it up. I put like, how common was it for kids to be afraid of the Count, wanting like reassurance? I didn't really get an answer on that, but it did say that I found a bunch of message boards about people that were like terrified. So I was born in 82. So I would imagine I was watching newer versions of him, but sometimes PBS would play like all years of Sesame Street, right? It wasn't always the current season.
There wasn't a lot of kids programming back then. In the early 80s, there was not a lot of options.
So I may have seen some of the older ones because he debuted in 1972, and I guess he was kind of menacing at first, to the point that he would like
his design
hypnotize other puppets so that they would leave him alone so he could keep counting. His
That's
laugh,
genius.
I actually looked up like his laugh. It was a lot like more vampiric.
When Jim Henson first started creating puppets and Muppets, they were for adult audiences.
Yeah.
Like that's who he created for it. He didn't go into it with the intention of creating for children.
Right.
It just happened that way.
So they did soften him over the years.
Yeah.
But I was like a little validated. I was like, okay, so he was a little bit scary.
I mean, he's a vampire.
Yeah, that's
scary.
Yeah. He's got his little cloak and
I mean,
all
he's
the things.
goofy, but he's,
yeah, he's scary.
Guy Smiley, I don't know. He was just a lot. He was just a lot. And it was, I was also a Mr. Rogers girly.
Yeah.
Like my mom, like probably because I had undiagnosed anxiety from birth. And I think like all that extra stuff was just too much for me.
Yeah, overstimulating.
It was like too. It was. I was wigged out.
Yeah,
wigged out. But Guy Smiley, yeah,
Guy Smiley and the Count. Man,
another one I know we both have.
Yep, let's do it.
Was being kidnapped.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we both had that, and that is because guys, in the 80s. Stranger danger was drilled into us at school every year, at least once.
At least.
We had these creepy ass videos they would play us of like creepy men on the street offering you candy.
Yep, if they offer you candy or to show you puppies.
Yeah.
And
Katie
then
says puppies, my candy.
Candy, puppies, I'd be gone. But and then also there's a big push at the time where like if someone showed up to pick you up from school,
yes, you had to have a word.
You had to have a code word with your family. So if they were like, I know your parents and they've been in an accident, come with me. You have to be like, well, what's the family code word?
Yes.
Which I get, but then I'm also like, if your parents were really in an accident, are they able to be like cognizant enough to be like the family word?
But you're a kid, you don't know.
Is duck or something. I don't know. But there was that. Knowing now from true crime that I listen to, it's interesting because the stranger danger cases from the era, like 70s into the 80s and on, do have elements of that.
I know.
Someone lying about a puppy or candy or some other thing like, oh, I want to show you this in my house really quick.
Yeah.
Or, oh, let me give you a ride. Like, remember, I'm your neighbor and I know your mom's Carol or whatever. So, I mean, it made sense.
Well, I think it's too because there was a lot more media coverage at the time. Like it was getting to be more widespread knowledge of kidnappings and things that you thought it was more frequent than it was.
Right. It's something like, and I meant to write this down, but I kind of know just from like knowing this stuff, it's less than 1% even back then.
Right.
But
you just were more aware of it.
Kidnappings. Now, that is still 1% or less.
Still
like
terrible.
It's still however many, like, and obviously can end very tragically, but you know, you're more in danger from people you know, and like we weren't having a lot of great conversations about that yet.
Which I know there's been like studies and talks and all the things about that, about how we were kind of there wasn't enough being taught to us as kids at that time about people you know being quote unquote the bad guys.
Absolutely. Whether that's teachers, coaches, family members, neighbors, even other kids, right, in abusive situations. I think we have a better conversation points about that now. And I know something that's kind of morphed a little, like we were just talking about the candy and the puppies and the code word. I know like when my kids were smaller, a big thing that was pushed was tell your kids not to like help adults, meaning like if you're riding your bike home from school and an adult's like, hey, hi there, can you give me directions to whatever? Or, hey, my dog ran away. Like to tell them, and I would, because my kids, all of them at one point or another have ridden bikes regularly to and from school. Adults will not ask kids for help.
Right.
That when the first time I heard that, I was like I was an adult. The first time I heard that, I was like, yeah, that's a great point.
That's true.
And that even if they really do need your help, I just told my kids, just ignore.
Yeah.
Just keep riding. Worst thing, they'll be like, that kid's a shit, you know? Oh well.
Too bad.
Find your own dog.
You're a safe shit. So.
Or find the CVS on your phone, like, or whatever.
You have a phone now, so like.
Yeah. So that was something I always told them, like, you know, because of course you want your kids to be respectful of other people, not just adults, but people. But I was like, look, if you're by yourself or even with your friends and somebody you don't know, an adult is asking you a question, just keep on riding, keep on walking. Don't even worry about being polite. But yeah, that one, and it's not, I wouldn't say that's another one that's not irrational, because it does happen. But like you said, it seemed like it was more common than it was.
And like, I still can remember those videos because I remember my sister will back me up on this too. Like and they would always know the day that it would be shown at school because I'd come home terrified, and I went through this obsession. Again, undiagnosed problems here. That's a trauma laugh, everybody.
It's like she doesn't really think
I don't really think it's funny. It's like a trauma laugh because that's how I handle things. So I would come home and like obsessively lock doors and windows. Like I would go check every
I did that too. I
window.
still do that.
I do too, to the point. But now I feel like it's different because you're protecting a whole house of people.
That's true.
And when you're a child, you shouldn't have to worry about that.
Right.
Anyway,
my parents like to leave windows open when it was nice out, like even at night, right? Like, because we had these huge oak trees and it would just be nice to have fresh air, but I would wait till they went to bed and I'd go around and close them all. Because they were like ground level. Yeah. Someone could get in, but was someone going to try to get in? Probably not. Well, but I couldn't sleep until everything was like,
no, ma'am.
And when I lived in an apartment in Chicago with a baby, my oldest, there were a couple times just someone rubbed me the wrong way, like walking down the hall near my apartment or something. And I lived in an okay building, but it just freaked me out. And I'm standing there with my baby, like they see what apartment I'm going into. That, I mean, total fire hazard. But there were a few times I just pushed furniture in front of the door. I was on like the 9th floor, so I wasn't worried about someone like scaling the building. I was worried about someone trying to get in from the hall.
100%.
And I would still do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look at us. Strangers.
All right, I have another silly one.
Okay, let's hear.
Because now I'm like, I'm sitting here as we're talking. I'm like, was this a bad idea for an episode? Because I feel like it's a downer. Like we're just like,
that's okay. I've got one, especially that's gonna not funny, but it's
okay.
Interesting.
I have some dumb shit coming up.
Okay, I'm ready.
So those were the first 3 that my sister texted me immediately.
Okay.
So, all right, this one I talked about before, but we're gonna revisit it because people may have missed it.
They may have. So, or they might be new. This might be their first episode.
So, Calgon commercials in the 80s terrified me.
I forgot about this one.
For those of y'all, I don't remember what episode we talked about this on. It was something to do with it was jingles,
probably commercials
or something like that. So, in the 80s, Calgon was like a bath product line. They started this whole campaign where it was like these frazzled women, like either at work or as mostly frazzled moms. And you'd see them like cooking dinner or at work in a meeting, and they'd go look at the camera and go, Calgon, take me away. And then they'd show them in this like luxurious bath. Well, I guess I never made it to the point where they were in a bath because all I would hear was that and I would panic. Like, Calgon, take me away scared the shit out of me.
Because as a kid, you just thought that they'd like disappeared.
I don't know. I guess I just thought Calgon, take me away. I have no idea, but it scared me to death.
I love it.
And I was little. I was like a little kid. But and it was a running joke in my family forever. And sometimes my sister would say it to me just to scare me.
Oh,
big sisters.
It's funny how like adults, create things. Now, granted, those commercials weren't targeted at kids, but especially back then, the commercials that were on was what the whole family saw, right? So that like someone who created that would probably never in a million years thought this might actually terrify children.
I mean,
one child.
It shouldn't. Like, I mean, it's not scary. The commercials are not scary. She's not even like, I don't know. I just was not having it.
I love it.
Not having it. And my sister would 100% chase me around and say, Calgon, take me away. And I'd be like, stop. Yeah.
That's great.
When you have a sister who's 7 years older,
it happens.
Mental torture happens.
Okay. So here's my interesting one.
Okay.
I texted you part of this. So let me tell you what I remember, but then I will tell you
is this the one we
accuracy.
Both agree on?
No, this is a different one.
Oh, okay.
But I think I texted it to you briefly. Okay. I vividly remember watching the movie Look Who's Talking. And there's a scene where she's in an apartment in New York or a big city, and a burglar is on her fire escape.
Yeah.
And they have like that little device that cuts the glass.
Yeah.
And they cut the glass and they reach their hand through and they unlock the window and they break in. Vividly remember that. Totally scared me like as a kid because it was the first time it occurred to me, oh my gosh, even if everything's locked, people can get in.
Oh, yeah.
And that like haunted me.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I avoid this? So I went to look it up because I'm like, I'm going to rewatch it. I cannot find it. in the movie, now granted I haven't watched it from beginning to end, I found something about how she thinks someone's breaking into her apartment, but it's
Are you sure
the guy
it's the
painting.
first one and not the sequel?
Maybe it's the sequel.
I think it's the sequel.
That's probably what happened. Because I'm like, did I literally misremember this?
We probably should have figured that out.
So it's probably Look Who's Talking 2?
I bet it is.
TOO 2?
I think so.
Okay. So I didn't imagine this.
Unless it's another movie with these peeps in it.
So I did find a reference to a 1981 movie called The Thief that had James Caan. And he does something like that. Like he had, and I found the clip of it, but it's not exactly the clip I remember in my brain. And yeah, he has like a suction cup circle glass cutter. I mean,
I think that was in lots of movies because I don't remember that, but I remember that being in things.
And I found something on it how it's just like a Hollywood myth.
Do you want me to look it up right now?
Look it up real quick.
Okay.
But whether it was in that movie or not, I just remember having this, again, not irrational, but this like fear of like, this realization you can have all these things like on your windows and doors and I don't know, all these kind of safeguards and still not.
I don't see anything, Katie.
Yeah. Did we both misremember this?
I mean, I don't remember it at all. I was just saying maybe it was like he's talking to. I mean, I remember seeing that in things.
So it could have been in a different movie. I'll look more into it, but I thought I was going to Google it and find the scene and watch it. Like that's how vividly I remember it being part of that movie.
That doesn't mean it's not there.
Yeah. I guess maybe I just need to watch both movies.
It says there's an apartment fire scene.
That's not what I'm really thinking of. Weird. Listeners, if you know off the top of your head, let us know.
We're spending way too much time.
Yeah, we are. It's okay. We're going to move on. But the main point of that, other than like sometimes we do misremember things, was that realization that you're never like really safe, as safe as you make yourself feel, and that it's all just these little things we put in place. But like, yikes. That's scary.
This is a very downer episode.
Okay, we're going to move on.
But I also have some other things that are not uncommon. So clowns, which is still a prevailing fear for me. I hate them. Do not ever come up in my face dressed like a clown.
I was a clown as a child.
Girl, I know. You sent me that picture. What is that?
I don't know.
No, ma'am. I don't know when this started for me, but it was definitely solidified when I saw the OG It miniseries where Tim Curry is Pennywise. Of course.
How could you not?
I looked it up, and that came out in 1990. So it wasn't in the 80s, but I was 10, and I 100% watched it when it came on because my mom was a huge Stephen King fan, and I wasn't like I was kind of allowed to watch stuff like wasn't really, plus that was in the time where it wasn't common to have TVs in multiple locations in the house yet. So if it was on in the living room, I could hear it, and if I zoomed through, I could see it.
Yeah. So that's a great point too. It's kind of like whatever your parents were watching, you were watching. Yeah. Even if you weren't sitting there watching it, you could hear it. You kind of pick up on what was going on. Yeah. When you went through the room or anywhere in the house. Yeah.
That's a great point. Clowns is, a lot of people are
clowns
scared
is really common. I mean, clowns make sense because it's a human form.
Yeah.
But like not like any real human you've ever seen. Yeah. And you also, don't really know who's under there.
I think I remember hearing about John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah.
Who also
birthday party clown.
Yeah. So it's like this illusion of silliness and innocence when underneath it's like pure evil and terrifying.
Yeah. No, I get that one. I didn't write that one down because I wasn't and I'm not that scared of clowns, but I understand.
Yeah, because you were one. You were part of the clown
I was. Clowning was the art.
That's crazy. And I'm not throwing shade to people who be clowning. I just don't want any part of it. And I will not. If you ever revisit that, I'm not coming to watch you.
Okay. That's an idea though. I'll think about that.
Oh, don't. No.
Okay.
Let's just let that die.